back to my channel. So today I thought that I would do a really cool video because I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but all my hens have names. And if you haven't noticed, most of them are brown. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I identify all of my hens. So most of my chickens are brown because the majority of the brown ones are Isa Browns. And Isa Browns are the #1 brown layers, so they lay 350 brown eggs a year. So that's why I have them, because I like to get a lot of eggs. And so then they pretty much look the same, and then I like to name all my chickens. So I have, say, 25, I don't think I have quite 25, maybe 15 chickens that most people say look exactly like, but they do not look exactly like. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I identify them, because there is quite a difference. So if you're excited for this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Now we can get into this video. Okay, so the first chicken that I have here is Sierra. So how I can tell her apart from the other chickens that look like Sierra, so I'll be bringing them in, but I can tell her apart because you'll understand this when I bring in the second one. But she has but the darkest part of her body is her neck, so it's like a dark caramel color, and then it gets lighter down toward her tail, and her tail has, and her saddle feathers right here have a different pattern. So they're kind of mixed colors, and well, I'm not gonna say mixed. They're laced. So she has the lighter colors in the middle, and then around the edge she has that darker color. And then I also can tell, the easiest way to tell apart a chicken is by their face, because it's like spotting your friend in the middle of a crowd also. So I can tell them apart by their face. So the way that I identify Sierra is because she literally has a twin. But I can tell her apart because of how many spikes she has on her comb and the way that they lay. So if you look, they are all standing up straight, and she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She also has a little bit of frostbite on the back of her comb that hasn't gone away from the winter. And then pay attention to her face shape as well, because they, believe it or not, have different face shapes. And then she also got bit on her comb, so she has like this little bitty chunk taken out of the bottom of it. So I kind of sometimes will tell them apart by the deformities, but the majority of the time it's just because of what they look like. So that's how I tell apart Sierra. She also kind of has on her neck, she also has a bunch of speckles. So now I will grab her twin so that you can see the difference between the two of them. Okay, so I am back with another chicken, and she looks so much like Sierra that I actually had to question myself which chicken I just put down and which chicken I was supposed to pick up. So that is how much these girls look alike. So as you can see from the side, they pretty much look the same. And so how I can tell them apart is, oh, by the way, this is chamomile. But how I can tell them apart is because chamomile is slightly darker, and she has more of a consistent color, whereas Sierra is a little bit darker, or is a little bit lighter. But on her back, where her saddle feathers are, it's definitely darker than Sierra's, and they're still laced, but they have more dark color than light color in the middle. So that's how I can tell. And then the spots on her neck, they're more of like dashes, they're not completely spots. Also, take a look at her face. Their faces are different because look at her comb. She has smaller spikes, and there are more of them, and she does not have the little bit piece on the back of her comb. Also, her comb is a little bit bigger than, her comb is a little bigger than other chickens, and Sierra had more rounded hills or spikes. I don't know what to call them. It's kind of like the stalactites and stalagmites. Chicken face. But anyway, so hers were taller, and then Chamomille's are a little bit more hills than spikes. That's the only way that I can really tell these two apart because they just look so similar. But the face plays a huge part in it because over time chickens will molt, and sometimes my chickens will have completely different coats, and I have to tell them, and the only way that I can tell them apart is because of their face. Because sometimes they'll have certain feather features, but then they'll lose the feather features, so that then I have no other way to tell them apart. So their face is very important. So guys, I hope that kind of showed you a little bit of how I tell apart my chickens. Also, I tell them apart by different sizes because I have several black chickens, and one is, and some are massive, the other are tiny. But now that I'm thinking about it, the real way that I actually tell them apart is definitely their face, definitely their combs, because all my black chickens are black, but all of them have a different face, and I can tell them apart. So here are a few different pictures of my black chickens so that you can see their different faces and how I tell them apart by them. Also, how I tell apart my lavender Orpingtons is because Natalie has a darker head than Misty. So that's how I tell them apart. They're also slightly varied in size. So Natalie is a little bit smaller than Misty is, but that's pretty much the only way that I tell them apart. And I had 2 Colombian Wyandottes. Here's a picture of Juju. She's the only one I have left because the other one, Francis, unfortunately passed away. But I had to put leg bands on them because I could not tell them apart. I also have 2 Dominique chickens. Their names are Monique and Checkers. And the only way that I can tell them apart is because when Monique was little, she broke her toe. So instead of straight, it's crooked. And I mix them up all the time. I have to look at their toes in order to tell them apart. It's pretty sad, but I mean, it works. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it kind of gave you a little understanding of how I tell them apart. But I literally tell my chickens apart the way that I would tell my friends apart. It's just by hair color or feather color, face shape, eyes, all of that stuff. So honestly, I've been with these hens for 4 years, I think, 4 or 5 years, most of them. But I just see them every single day, and every single day I just say like, oh, that's Chamomile, that's Sierra, that's Toe Pecker. Yes, I have one named Toe Pecker. She doesn't actually pick your toes though. But I just see them every single day, so it's easier for me to tell them apart over time and then learn their identity. My mom, she just walks up to the chickens and she's like, which one's that? I tell them her name. I tell her the name. She's like, how do you tell all these apart? So you have to do a video on how to tell these apart. So here I am. I figured that it would be a pretty interesting topic. So thank you again for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. So please leave this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!